you might still be making the triceps training mistake that we're gonna talk about today without even knowing it. So I'm gonna show you what it is you might be screwing up and how to fix it. And at the end of this video, I'm gonna show you a version of a triceps extension that you've probably not done before. All right, so the major mistake is this. Whenever you're doing a single arm D handle extension, you should not be gripping the handle so that your palm is facing upward toward the ceiling. At least not if you're actually grabbing a handle. So here's the thing, if I'm grabbing a handle like this, the only thing that can really help me resist the cable's pull upward on my hand and my wrist is basically just the tips of my fingers trying to keep the handle squeezed, and then the thumb trying to hold the handle down. And if you're trying to push down against a heavy weight this way, relying basically on your thumb's ability to do this is not going to be a very reliable strategy for lifting more load over time. Now, some people say that this grip helps them feel specifically the long head of their triceps more. But here's the problem with this. None of the triceps attach to the part of the forearm that actually rotates, which is this spinny bone down here. The triceps, represented in blue here, simply attach to the back of what's known as the ulna bone and pull the ulna this way when they contract. In other words, they just move the forearm like this. They don't actually twist the arm this way. And a lot of times when people do this palm up thing, all they're really doing is just changing the position of their upper arm, and that's why it might feel different. Now, this might sound weird, but I'm not actually against this palms up grip, accounting for one small change you can make, which is to actually just move the handle out of the way and loop the webbing of the D handle around the back side of your palm close to your wrist. This way now, not only is the load super close to your wrist, so it's easy to actually resist, but as you're pushing down, you have all these really strong wrist extensor muscles to resist the load rather than just the thumb and the tips of the fingers. So you can still use this palm up grip if you want, you just need to change the method that you're using to perform the grip so that the load isn't limited by the limitation in your strength to hold on to the handle. Now, my personal grip preference for any normal triceps extension like this is actually to use a neutral grip where the handle is kind of on the side like this and where I'm actually pushing down against the bottom side of the webbing, very, very close to my wrist joint. And when you grip the handle like this and perform the triceps extension that way, it basically feels like there's no tax or fatigue at all in the hand, wrist, or forearm. Now, gripping with your palm totally straight down and doing the push down that way is also perfectly fine, but people tend to move their arms inward when they do the push down that way. So this is a totally fine push down, this is a totally fine push down, and this is a totally fine push down, because all three of these variations are going to target the long head of the triceps, the medial head of the triceps, and the lateral head of the triceps equally. While there may be a sensation-based difference between each of these variations, that doesn't necessarily mean that all the heads aren't getting a significant amount of stimulus. What I would do is opt to use the variation that is most comfortable, allows your elbow to feel the best, and that feels the most stable on your shoulder. So whether that's with the palm down, the palm in neutral, or the palm facing up, and again, if your palm is facing up, make sure you're looping that webbing around the back of the hand like we talked about earlier. All these are great variations. Now, there is a special alternative, which is basically just to circumvent anything to do with your grip and to use an ankle strap above your hand on your forearm so that you can basically just circumvent having to grip anything altogether. This is a strategy that might feel a little bit weird at first, but it's definitely worth a try if you've never done it before. And it can be especially helpful for any of you who have any pre-existing hand, wrist, forearm, or elbow issues. Most ankle cuffs are super cheap on Amazon, so you can just type in ankle cuffs and something probably reliably good will come up. If you're still watching at this point in the video, please make sure you subscribe and check the links in the description if you want to learn more from me.